Is it easy? Do you just come down, or do you need a visa?
No, I mean, obviously, the majority of your listeners, I'd imagine, are Brits, but no, certainly for Brits, there's no visa requirements. For the vast majority of countries, actually, there's no visa requirements. You can more or less assume that if you can get into the UK without a visa, you can get into the Falklands without a visa. You can find information online on our website and things like that. But no, really, the only entry requirements are that you've got a return ticket booked, that you've got travel insurance, medical insurance, and that's about it really. And you've got somewhere to stay while you're here.
Is it best to book in advance before you come down, or would you be lucky if you just showed up and try to get a hotel?
No, I would certainly recommend that you book in advance. It is really important because obviously we've only got a population of 2,500 people. We're pretty limited, so it's quite incredible actually that this tiny, what would be a village in the UK, has got everything that a country needs. We've got banks, hospitals, schools. We've got a cathedral. We've got numerous shops, restaurants, hotels, all that kind of thing, and and it is literally the size of a village. But there are limits, and our hotels and things like that do get full. So you certainly do need to book to make sure that you've got your itinerary sorted before you come. If nothing else, just to make sure you're not disappointed.
Is it okay to DIY book, or should you be going for a tour operator or a travel agent?
I think the best thing to do is just see what's on offer to start with, and make your decisions based on that. We've got a good website that sort of sets it all out. It gives you ideas of things you can go and see, places to stay, areas you can travel to, all that kind of thing. It is possible. There's contact details. You can book everything yourself if you feel so inclined. If not, there are good tour operators, local ones as well, local to the Falklands, who can put together a itinerary for you based on your interests and your needs. Or there's sort of travel agents that sell package tours, if you like, to the Falklands, so you don't even need to think about it. So, anything is possible. And certainly the first step would be to have a look online and see what's on offer.
How long should a visitor plan on staying?
That is quite a difficult one in terms of how long somebody should stay. It depends on what your interests are, what you're interested in doing and seeing while you're here. You're probably getting the impressions that, from what I've said so far, there's an awful lot to see and do. And the wonderful thing about the Falklands is, as you're hopping around visiting different islands, they're all so different. There's different wildlife on these islands. Some of them are, are more or less flat and perfect if you sort of just want a gentle stroll. Other ones have got sort of mountains and cliffs and incredible landscapes. So there's a diversity of things to go and see. But it's a long way to come. It's sort of one of the more expensive sort of places to fly to. It takes a long time to get here, so you don't want to sort of miss out on any opportunity. So I certainly recommend people come for at least a week. Certainly at least a week.
This is Seklo Sounds. Join us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. for 1 hour in the company of Harry and Edna on the Wireless, exploring all aspects of the vintage scene and playing tip-top gramophone tunes. Harry and Edna on the Wireless, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on seklosounds.org. Jolly good.
Hi, blessings to each and every one of you. Join me, Darren Hoy, with the Reggae Takeover Show for 2 hours of the finest reggae vibes, each and every Wednesday, 9 through to 11 p.m, here on Seklo Sounds. Don't miss out on your weekly Sunshine Fix, featuring roots, rude boy, dub, lovers rock, ska, one drop, and much, much more. So go on, give your sound system a treat. Join me, wind down low, and skank the night away. One love. That's Wednesdays, 9 through to 11 p.m, live on Seklo Sounds.
Get it up, my selector.
You're listening to the John Guinn Travel Show on seklosounds.org. Still to come on the show, my brief introduction to Paris as a short break destination, and travel news, which includes a story about a English airport that may be closing. It's a shame that an airport's closing, but there's a strong possibility you may not even know it exists. But anyway, keep listening, and I'll be discussing that story too. But at the moment, still talking the Falklands. It's a long way to go. It's not a well-known tourist destination, so is it really somewhere you can take children? Well, let's find out when we get back to Darren.
Is it somewhere really to take the kids, or is it more an adult-orientated kind of thing?
It's a fantastic place for kids. I've got two young children, a 4-year-old and an 18-month-old, and there's nowhere else I'd want to be with my kids. They just love it. The freedom that kids have here is second to none. In fact, my kids struggle when we get back to the UK with how restrictive it is. So, kids can roam safely here. It's a small community. It's a safe community. Everybody knows each other. And when you see kids light up when, a penguin comes up and stands in front of them and sort of looks at them quizzically, or, you see the dolphins playing in the surf and things like that, it's just absolutely lovely to see how kids react to it. So, no, it's certainly a brilliant place to bring children.
On to my favourite subject, food. Do you have a national dish?
We've got we don't have a sort of iconic national dish, if you like. I mean, if it'd be anything, it'd be lamb, roast lamb. As I said, our heritage is as an agricultural country, and sheep farming, plays a big part in that. So we've got really amazing organic, or sort of organically raised lambs, mutton, cows, pork. We've got sort of really good natural fresh produce, but we've got a big fishery around the Falklands, toothfish, kingklip, things like that, are all sort of very good. A lot of our local restaurants on the menus will actually tell you what's local produce, so you can pick accordingly. We've got lots of geese in the Falklands, so you can have sort of pâtés and terrines and things like that with the local geese. We've got local berries that make jams and sauces and things. So, there is lots that you can try that's uniquely Falklands, and it's all very, very good. So.
Now I'm hungry. What would be the ideal itinerary for somebody when they come down? What should they do?
Well, yeah, I mean, gosh, again, it's such a difficult one because there is so much to see, and I can't really play favourites. But certainly, you'd want to spend some time in Stanley. It's where over 90% of the population live. So it's where an awful lot happens. There's lots to see. There's lots of really interesting history. In Stanley, we've got sort of old square riggers shipwrecked in the harbour, which are really iconic and make fantastic photographs. We've got a brilliant little museum that covers everything from sort of old Falklands history up to the conflict. It's got exhibitions on sort of the wildlife and natural history and all that kind of thing. We've got the cathedral. We've got restaurants and pubs and things like that to visit in Stanley. So you'd certainly want to spend some time here. But if you really want to see the Falklands, you've got to get out of town into the camp. And the best way to do that is to go island hopping and visit. We've got these brilliant little 10-seater Islander aircraft which fly out of Stanley, land on grass airstrips. I mean, that in itself is a really exciting little adventure going on these tiny planes. And our pilots are just incredible, absolutely incredible. And the beautiful thing about here is the freedom they've got. So, if they see something interesting, they'll go and fly around it so you can have a look and take a picture en route to wherever you're going. But, certainly visiting the offshore islands with the lodges and things like that. I mean, some of the things you can do, there's one place where you can literally get up, have your breakfast and take your morning coffee just 2 minutes down onto the beach and sit and watch elephant seals having massive fights on the beach and penguins wandering around and killer whales cruising around in the background just while you sat on a grass tussock drinking your coffee. It's just incredible. There's other places where you can go. You can sit on the deck chair and drink a glass of wine in the evening and watch the whales swimming past. You can go hiking, and a lot of these lodges, some of these families might have lived on the island for 30, 40 years, and it's just that one family. It's very much theirs. You're staying in their home and just meeting the people and listening to the stories they've got to tell. It's a different life, it's a different world, and it's just fantastic. So, you've got to get out there and experience it for yourselves, really.
It's definitely gone right up on my bucket list.
It should be on everybody's bucket list. I think it's brilliant.
How can the listeners find out more?
As I alluded to, we've got a website, www.falklandislands.com, or you can just Google it. Everything you need to sort of start thinking about planning your visit is on that website. So, certainly have a look on there. There's contacts on there for individual tour guides, tour operators, accommodation, all that kind of thing. People are more than happy to answer your questions. Or if you want to get in touch with me or any of my colleagues at the Falkland Island Tourist Board, if you just email info@falklandislands.com, I'd be very pleased to hear from you, and as I said, happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay, thanks, Darren. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, not at all. It's been a pleasure.
You can contact us or just keep up to date with travel news at facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show.
This is Seclo Sounds, your community radio station. If you'd like to volunteer some of your time and skills with Seclo Sounds, send an email to volunteers@seclosounds.org and let us know how you would like to be involved. MK Flyers Online, the fast and simple way to find any kind of business or service locally. Find us at mkflyersonline.co.uk or download the MK Flyers mobile app from your app store. MK Flyers Online proudly supports Seclo Sounds, community radio for Milton Keynes.
The John Guinn Travel Show. Checking it out before you check in on seclosounds.org. Recently I wrote an article for a travel magazine about Paris. The purpose of the article was to give a little bit more background information for travel agents. So rather than just keep it to travel agents, I thought I'd share a bit with it with you now. So if you're looking at going to Paris for a short break, you'll have a little bit more information. Starting off with the climate of Paris, it's known for its showers apparently, and its rainfall is distributed fairly evenly between June and February, and March to May are the driest months. The average annual rain is between 607 and 641 millimetres a year. Winters can be cold, with temperatures hovering around about freezing, and summers are usually mild to warm. However, there can be the odd heat wave. The city of Paris covers 105 square kilometres, or 41 square miles, but the Paris metropolitan area covers 17,174 square kilometres, which is 6,631 square miles. So it's fairly huge. And in the metropolitan area, there is over 12,000 people, according to 2011 census, people living there. And in the actual city of Paris, the smaller area, there's 2.25 million. If you want to ring Paris, then the dialing code from the UK is 00331, followed by the local number. Passport and visa requirements. For stays of up to 3 months, a UK passport should be valid for the duration of the stay. It's very important. A fairly common requirement for passports is 6 months left after the date of departure. So you may find when you check into an airline, they may say your passport isn't long enough, but the actual requirement is that the passport should be valid for the duration of the stay. For stays for longer than 3 months, you should contact the French embassy for information on entry requirements for the amount of time you want to spend there. Since this year, the French authorities will also accept British passports extended by 12 months by embassies and consulates, which could be handy for you. You don't need a visa to enter France if you're a British citizen, but if you're travelling on another type of British nationality passport, or if you don't have a UK passport, then you should contact the Foreign Ministry, www.diplomate, which is www.diplomatie.guv.fr/en, or confirm this with the French embassy. UK emergency travel documents for those who have lost their passports can be used for entry, airside transit and exit from France. And there are actually 5 airports around Paris: Charles de Gaulle, Orly, Beauvais, Tilly airports,